Hello, welcome to our stretching video. Stretching is one of my favorite things to do. They say it helps you move when you want to move, rest when you want to rest, plus it feels so good. Today we're going to be stretching in a chair. You can also do this on the floor. Whatever works best for you, but I'm just showing you today it can easily be done in a chair if you do prefer to sit. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start with a couple of deep breaths. So reach your hands up. Good. Palms come together and down a couple times. Stretching is best combined with deep breathing because it really allows our muscles to lengthen. This time pause in our upward position, dropping one shoulder down so that we can feel that stretch in our ribs here, right underneath of our shoulder. Good, make sure you get both sides. And relax those hands wide, nice and gentle here. I can feel this stretch across the front side of my shoulders. Good, and reach those hands around, give yourself a big hug, and tip one shoulder down. Once again, you can sort of come in front just a little bit here and rotate so that you can really feel your back stretch. By just simply leaning forward a little bit, I can really target all of my back muscles. Make sure to do both sides. Good, and relax. If you've got a lot of shoulder flexibility, go ahead and take one hand up, one hand behind, and reach for those fingers behind you. Go ahead and hold. If not, just reach for that elbow. Either way works just fine. Make sure to do both sides. Just holding here, continuing our deep breathing. Good, and relax and reach one hand across your body, feeling the stretch in the upper part of our arm. Okay, you can pump that wrist to really feel the stretch down the arm. And relax. Let's take our other hand across our body and pull it in. Feeling that stretch on the upper part of our arm, go ahead and pump your wrist if it feels good. And relax. And gently tip one ear to your shoulder, feeling that stretch in your neck. If it feels right, go ahead and drop that chin around to your chest, feeling the stretch around all sides of your neck. And gently switch sides. Good, and relax. Let's go ahead, we'll take our legs as wide as our chair legs, and we're gonna push our belly out, roll those shoulders back, take a deep breath in, lift up your chin, and with your next exhale, roll your shoulders forward, drop that chin down and push your back into your chair. Inhale, roll those shoulders back, belly up and chin up, and exhale, roll forward and down. Go ahead and go through these motions with a couple of times here with your own breath. So when you breathe, you move, and when you move, you breathe. Nice and gentle. And this one is allowing our spine to move just a little bit by working our shoulders all the way down to those hips. We can really get some great flexibility in our spine. Good, and relax. Let's go ahead and twist. You'll want to remember to stay tall through the crown of your head. So imagine a string is pulling from the top of your head, okay? And just gently twist. Go ahead and turn your head at the same time. And relax and turn to the other side. and relax. Very good. Let's go ahead. We'll take one leg out, reach down toward that leg, and stretching. We never want to bob. You'll see people do that sometimes, but it's not good for our muscles. So we just want to hold constant pressure. Reach toward your ankle. If you're not that far, that's totally fine. Go ahead and drop your toe down to the floor so that you can feel that stretch in your shin here. And lift those toes all the way up to the sky so that you can feel that stretch in the back side of your calf. Feel free to hold these stretches for even longer. If you want to pause the video and hold for longer, you're more than welcome to. We want to hold our stretches for at least 20 seconds, all the way up to a minute, as long as it's not causing any pain. If we do have pain, we want to stretch to the pain, but not through it. So say, for example, I've got some shoulder pain. When I lift my hand above here, I get pain. If that's the case, I'm only going to stretch right below that. So I'm going to go to the pain, not through it. We don't want to force ourselves. Go ahead and switch legs. Take the other leg out. Reach down toward that ankle. Feel the stretch, the whole back side of that leg. Breathing through this, you'll notice that your body and your muscles sort of relax a little bit more with every breath. You'll notice how you sort of go, and you're able to stretch a little bit deeper every time you exhale. Go ahead and drop those toes down so that you can feel that stretch through the shin. If you start to get a foot cramp, you can kind of point your foot down but keep your toes up. If you do get foot cramps or leg cramps, it's real common. I have found that pickle juice or a little spoonful of mustard will do the trick. I know it's kind of weird, but it works. And if you get a cramp, desperate times call for desperate measures. Go ahead and lift those toes up toward the sky so that you can feel that stretch in your calf, the back side there. Just holding. Our muscles are sort of stubborn, so that's why it takes us so long to actually unwind. Our muscle fibers are sort of like our fingers, and so they stretch a little bit, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. So that's why. Go ahead and relax. Let's go ahead, we'll take one leg out to the side and turn the opposite direction, okay? So my right leg is out, and I'm turning to the left. I can feel that stretch on the inside of my leg here. A really great way to feel a stretch. And remember that you can do these stretches on the floor as well. Every single one of them will look exactly the same. Go ahead and switch. I'll take my left leg out and turn to the right. Feeling that stretch on the inside of that leg. I'm keeping my knees slightly bent. Good, and relax. Go ahead, couple of options here. We can either cross our ankles and lean forward, or bring that ankle up and lean forward. I'm feeling that stretch in my hip, sort of where your pocket might be. Okay, right in that hip joint. Gentle stretch. I can lean forward or lean a little to the right or a little to the left. We want to do whatever feels good here, and it's going to be different for everyone, and that's okay. This is another one where we're going to hold it for a little bit longer to really let those muscles deep in our hips stretch. Our hips are a connection point for most of our abdominal muscles and a lot of our leg muscles, so they need a lot of time to truly lengthen and release that muscle tension, okay? So I'm just holding here. Feel free to hold this for even longer. If you're on the floor, you're just gonna sit with this leg bent and this leg like this. We call it a figure 4 position. Go ahead and switch. Good. If you practice yoga, you also might call it the cradle the baby, where you bring that leg up, just like that. Don't feel like you have to do that. That's kind of a tricky one, only if you have very flexible hips. If you've had a hip or a knee replacement, doing even this is probably going to be too much. You can bring that leg down just like that and simply lean forward to get a similar stretch in there. Okay, go ahead and hold that one. Good, and relax. Okay, I'm going to show you two versions of our next stretch. Go ahead and turn sideways on the chair. I've got my left leg up. I'm going to drop my right knee down, okay, so that I can stretch the front side of that right leg. This is option one, just holding here on the chair. Make sure you do have a sturdy chair if you do this. Option two is to be standing. I'm going to shift my hips forward so that I feel that stretch in my hip flexor here and just hold to the side, making sure I continue my good posture. If I'm leaning too far forward, I'm not going to feel that stretch. So shift the hips forward and rock those shoulders back to feel that stretch. Good, nice and gentle here. And go ahead and switch to the other side. Again, we can be seated by just dropping one knee down and having the other up, or we can be standing. Shift those hips forward so that you can feel that stretch in the hip flexor. Both knees are slightly bent here. We always want those knees slightly bent. All right, and relax. So that was just a short video, a great total body stretch. I will give you a little bonus here, a little back stretch, okay? Stretching our back is difficult. We have a lot of things going on. There's a ton of structure in our spinal column, and so that is sometimes challenging. So I will show you how to stretch your back, okay? You can do this seated or standing. Standing, you're going to be bent over just like this. And seated, you'll be more in this position here. So what we're going to do is use those knees as an anchor, okay? And so I want you to let your posture slouch. By letting our posture slouch, we create more room in our low back, which is really where a lot of people have tension, okay? So I'm going to use my leg as an anchor, let my posture slouch, and pull into my shoulder blades, okay? So I sort of just pull backward. If my hand were between your shoulder blades, you'd be pushing into my hand, okay? And then if you want to stay there, stretch your upper back or your thoracic back, that's fine. If you want that stretch to move down, go ahead and tighten up those belly muscles, squeeze the core, and you can feel that stretch move right down to the low back. Feels so good down there. You can sort of play around with it a little bit, rock a little bit from side to side, play with your spinal position here. Feel free to sit up taller or slouch a little bit more. The choice is yours. If you are standing, you're going to bend over. Use those knees as an anchor. I like to do one at a time. Pull up into my shoulder blades. So I'm pulling up as if someone's hand was right here, I'd be pushing up into their hand, okay? So I pull up. And then if I want that stretch to move to my low back, tighten up those belly muscles, and that stretch will move right down. It's a wonderful way to stretch your low back, even those tricky, hard to reach places. Thank you so much for watching. Please stretch at your own pace. Go with whatever speed you want to go. Hold it when it feels good, and don't overstretch. Stretching should feel good, not painful. If it's painful, ease off just a little bit, okay? Nice and easy. You guys have a wonderful day.